Hello, everyone, and welcome back to episode 2, season 4 of So What's New in the Biscuit Tin. I'm Jess.
And I'm Sam.
And we are really excited today to bring you another chat between the two of us. And we're going to be talking about later on what happens when maybe sewing stops being your main thing, or how we cope with transitioning hobbies, having multiple hobbies, and in an era where we're kind of defined by our identities online, how we navigate those changes and the fact it's kind of okay.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to have a little catch up. How are you, Sam?
I'm good. What is it? It's February, isn't it? Yeah. January didn't feel too long this year, actually. Some years it feels like about it's 300 days long. I'm kind of taken aback that it's February already. Yeah, but I'm good. I did some sewing last weekend and made 2 joyful tops to try and beat the grey because it's a bit grey outside at the moment. And I made the Tammy Handmade Faye, really nice pattern.
Ooh,
yeah,
nice. Is that the blouse?
Yes, and I've made quite a few blouses, so I wasn't really expecting it. I wasn't expecting it to be anything hugely different, but actually there is something very nice about the shape, the way she's drafted it.
Okay, that is nice because and that's not to say it can't be a wonderful pattern, but like blouses are blouses generally, so it is really nice when you find something a little bit different.
Yeah, and I hacked the Size Me Sewing Seren into a front with no placket, and it was a full front cut on the fold.
Nice, that sounds good. And is it like an over the head situation?
Yes, yeah. So you've got those gorgeous big sort of blues on his sleeves. You've got that nice big French dart coming up still, but just not the button detail, which is nice at this time of year when you're layering. And because I put a sleeveless top over, and so you could take it on and off. And I made secret sleeves as well because it's sort of 3/4 length, isn't it? Which at this time of year, chilly wrists. So I got some ribbing and made just like back to the 80s, some like sleeve bits so that I could put them on with them looking like I got a top underneath. And then when I got hot, whip them off.
For that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And, we need to do more of that. I think sometimes people panic and it's like, actually, your outfit's your outfit. Like, who's to know? Who's to care? It's fine.
Yeah. What about you?
So I am coming to the Southern Social this weekend, which is really exciting because I haven't been since my wedding the week before. I love going to the Southern Social. I really do. But it's a combination of my diary doesn't often allow it. And I sometimes get stressed about sewing with people. So I'm really excited. And I have done some fabric shopping as well. It's such a nice group.
And so you'll be able to have a whole table to yourself as well.
Thank God, because I have stuff to do, so that is good. I can't decide what to bring, and I would welcome podcast listeners' views. I mean, to be fair, I will have been by the time you guys hear this. But I would really, really like your guys' views because I can't decide. And actually, Sam, you'll have to tell me what you think. So we have options. I did some fabric shopping because I felt like I wasn't very inspired.
Nice.
And I knew what I wanted. You'd be very proud of me, actually. I had like quite a clear idea, but I went a little bit different with fabrics. So I did some shopping at Semi Sunshine.
Nice.
Because I love their fabric quality. Again, as you guys know, we got lots of responses to that, by the way, last week. I'm on a bit of a crusade to stop using crap fabric, which I got so many messages being like, tell us whose fabric's terrible. No, I will not do that because that is my personal experience and that's not fair on small businesses. Yeah. It's more of a general comment, okay? But I did some shopping at Semi Sunshine. I got a new pattern. So it's not a blouse, it's a shirt because I want a slightly lower collared shirt. Yeah. So we're blouse-ish in terms of neckline, but traditional shirt in terms of construction. And I want it to tuck into my jeans and I want it to like tie and look kind of cute and just have that like range of possibilities. So I got, and I'm checking my phone to make sure I say this right, I got the Avid Seamstress, the Everyday shirt.
Ooh, I'm not seeing that one.
Which is a really nice looking pattern. It's a shirt construction, which I need because sometimes the blouse is too limiting on the bust. It's just really annoying. And sometimes a shirt, if I make it a size bigger, it gives me that blouse on larger, which is what I want, without it being like weirdly big in some areas. So I got that, and then I got 3 fabrics. 2 of which are cotton shirtings. I love working with shirting.
I saw those on her
Did
Instagram.
you?
They're nice, yeah.
So I got the tangerine stripe one, which is like almost like a coral, really in person, and it's like a really fine, almost like a pinstripe, but not.
Yeah.
And then I also got the end of a bolt, which is 1.5 meters actually, which is pretty good for a remnant, of like a deep blue marine stripe as well. Because I thought I suit bright colours and they'll take me right the way through to the autumn because I can layer them under jumpers for the spring. And I can layer them over tops for the summer, and I can wear them tucked into jeans, over dresses. I just felt like I was needing it in my wardrobe and needing some bright colours. And then I also got some really, really beautiful gingham, which I'm not going to say what I'm doing with yet because I may be utterly delusional with what I want to do. So I need to lay out what I'm doing to see if I can fit it in. So do I bring one of my lovely new shirts to the Southern Social, possibly 2 of them, given how quickly I sew, or I'm going to one of my lovely bridesmaids' 30th birthday at the beginning of March, and I have got some ridiculous black lace sparkles. And I'm considering making a Vicky Sews Manuela with like a slip underneath, so it's like see-through lace. So do I bring that if I have a whole table
to make as well, haven't you?
I do, but I want to do that at home because I don't want anyone to see it.
So
I want to keep that on private. So I don't know, sparkles or shirts?
I think shirts. I think just be a nice, like, satisfying sew. I think you just need that right now. I think, and also it gives you a chance because you might be having a little look around the room while you're there, mightn't you? Bit of planning.
Well, that is true. That is very, very true for reasons that we will talk about very soon.
Yeah.
Now, Sam's going to cut this out if I'm not allowed to say this, but based on our emails, I think I am allowed to say this.
I think you can, yeah.
We have a very exciting thing coming up in March for the podcast.
Pause for a drum roll that I will insert here.
Yeah. So exciting. Guys, wait for it. We're doing a live podcast at the Stitch Festival. Woo! We are so excited. So this is really, really cool. This has been in the works for months. We have not been able to talk about it. We do need to reply to their email. I will do that tonight. If you're listening, sorry, we will. We're just busy people, but we're so excited. So it's definitely going to be us 2. It's going to be on the Friday. So Friday I'm going to get it wrong. Friday the 20th. We are going to have a discount for all of our lovely listeners for tickets, which we will put in the episode description of today. And we will also read out next time when we've 100% confirmed all the details, because when this goes out, it'll all be confirmed. So we'll put it in the episode description. We'll put it on our Instagram, and next episode we'll talk you through how to get that discount. We're also looking to see if we can do a giveaway because we love our lovely listeners, so why not?
Yep.
11 o'clock, Friday the 20th, come to the Stitch Festival. You will see a live podcast with us 2 and possibly a mystery guest. So that's in the works, but definitely Sam and I, and we're so excited.
We are, because we're going to ask for audience participation. So if you want to try and see if you can throw us off or get an opinion out of us that you've wanted to hear, that will be your opportunity, because we are going to take dilemmas, secrets, confessions, everything, or questions from the audience. So you might be thinking, I've always wanted to know their opinion on, and it will be the perfect opportunity. And if you can't come, you can still send us those, because afterwards we're going to put it out for everyone else to hear as well. Fingers crossed that the technology works.
So if you can't get to London on the 20th of March, fear not. We will have, so the sound recording guys will give us a recording, like they'll give us our mic feeds. So you should be able to hear everything. We will do our best and we'll get that released for you. Now, just to clarify, Sam said audience participation, not like a panto, please don't heckle us. We mean anonymously submitting stuff. You don't have to read anything out. There will be like roving mics for questions. But it'll be anonymous for if you want to confess, dilemma, ask us anything. But we will also have raving mics if you just want to do Q&A as well. We can do that too. But we're so excited. We'll share loads more about this coming, and I hope you're as excited as we are. That's very much dominating our brains, I think, at the moment.
It's been a dream for a year, hasn't it, that we've wanted to do this, and we've got there, we've done it. So
it feels really huge. And actually, I can also say this, because you'll know this by now, the So Yellow Friendo party is now the weekend after the Stitch Festival. So Sunday the 29th of March. All other details coming your way very soon. But March is going to be a jam-packed month for us.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting
Can't
month.
believe it.
And I think this is the perfect segue into comments from episode 1. Do you like the way I segued in there? Audience participation.
I thought it was beautiful. I would like to say as well, we're going to start, if you enjoy this, let us know, because I'd like to start doing this every ep. To give us your questions, comments, thoughts from the previous ep. So Sam, hit me. I haven't heard these yet.
Okay, so we put a question box on Instagram. You can leave a comment on the podcast as well, whatever medium you wish, we will find it to gather it. So we asked everybody what their sewing ins and outs were, like we'd been talking about. And one of someone's sewing ins was more using what I already have. Fabrics, notions, patterns, very on board with that. Their Instagram starts with the word snail pace. So if you know who you are, you'll know that was yours. We then have another person saying less buying without a plan. I think Jess and I are both there for that one, aren't we?
Absolutely. And that is it. It's a really big one for both of us this year.
Yeah. And I think this one, someone's Instagram starts with Lizzie Sews, says, more consistency, reminding myself small efforts all add up and move me forward, with a heart emoji. That is just a brilliant comment, that all efforts move us forward. Love it.
I like that. That's a progress, not perfection vibe, which I think is really important.
Yeah. And then we've got another one. It's not, I can't fully read it. Something with mini makes in the title. There's a strange bit on my phone at the beginning. Says expensive fabrics that are actually bad quality. So this must be an out, with dyes that run in the wash. Not happy. Jess is there for that one.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm nodding away. Yes. So I have had some fantastic conversations with some of you. So I did a post on this and a couple of people commented being like, oh, well, cheap fabrics have their place. And I was like, oh, they do. Yeah. But they don't have a place when you're paying 15 quid a metre for them. Like I cheap fabric, if it's going to be cheap, it's got to be like, as if it's going to be cheap quality, it's got to be cheap price. You can't be charging 10 to 15 quid a metre for fabric that's going to last one wash. And I had a conversation with a lady. I'm wondering if it's the same person who had a mare recently. So if it is you, I'm so sorry, and I hope you managed to resolve it.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are some fabrics that I've had, some particular jerseys that when they wash a couple of times, they look like you've washed them like 50 times in the sewing machine. And I agree with you. If I pay more, I expect more. So that,
which is the way the entirety of life works as well, just to be clear.
Generally,
this isn't like an unexpected thing.
Yeah, colour catchers are king here, and I'm always disappointed if the colour catcher comes out full of colour, because that tells me something. It's quite a measure of a fabric when it comes out, and even if it's like a bright pink I watched the other day, that colour catcher was still pure white when it came out, and that's a good sign. Little top tip.
Which it should be.
Yeah, put a bit of white vinegar in your softener drawer. That helps.
Oh, I have to tell them this. So Sam does this, and I love it. Yeah. But I didn't realise she did this. I went over to your house once last summer, and you had industrial quantities of vinegar. And I just was looking at it like, what is she? Is she okay? Is everything all right? Like, what's going on? And then you explained it, and that made total sense. But I've never seen so much vinegar in one person's house. It was so funny.
I can't be doing with like buying one little bottle, because that's gone in because particularly if like you're wanting to soften a fabric, you need a reasonable amount in with some water to let it soak. And it's far better to buy it. What Jess is talking about is the 5 litre things. I also buy my washing out liquid in 5 litre things as well. So
makes sense.
And we buy the biggest.
I actually think I'm gonna have to join you.
Sorry?
I think I'm gonna have to join you with mass vinegar shopping, because I use it to clean the bathroom when I don't want to use bleach.
Yep.
Because I use a paste of like vinegar and bicarb, and this is great for anyone who has the kind of shower you can't get into easily to clean. Washing up liquid and then bicarb, and then I scrub into a paste with like an actual outside, like the proper long brushes from like, the Tesco's green ones, those ones. You scrub, and then it stays there for like an hour, and then you just keep scrubbing it occasionally. You wash that off, and then I just use like vinegar and water to clean the what am I talking about? Doors. And we're free. Yes, it does. So, random household tip.
But with the supermarkets, I need big bulks of things, you know. Life is too short.
I love it.
Spend it in the supermarket.
I love it so.
Right.
Life is too short to keep buying vinegar. That's I want on a t-shirt. Fantastic.
And then we've got from somebody who, this is a great Instagram name, seems so legit. Oh, seems like a sewing seam and so like sewing.
I know them. They're amazing. I love them.
More ins. These must be ins. More sewing. I want 40% of my wardrobe to be me made by 2027. That's nice.
Okay. That suggests they have an actual measurable metric, and I'm obsessed with that.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I really want to know in percentage terms how you do that.
Yeah. And then I would be too scared to count on my clothes. I can't do it.
Oh, God, no.
And then from Sunny Sews Every Day, I know who that is. More sewing with wovens this year. Jersey is my go-to. Well, yes, I'm with her there. Jess, I know, is on the other.
Oh, my God. Do you know what's great is I've realised the world is divided into people that look at a pattern and go, I can make that in jersey. And people who go, I'd make that in woven. And it's like a fundamental mental difference. And I just didn't realise until I met Sam that people looked at patterns and went, I wondered if I could make that in jersey. I go, oh, thank God I don't have to make that in jersey, and then move on.
I'm wearing today for people for if you want to see visuals, there will be reels up on Instagram. I have on a colour block pattern test for Sarah of my handmade wardrobe.
She does.
It's made in loads of pieces of leftover like sweatshirting and French terry. It is
fabulous.
It's my 80s dreams.
I was gonna say I'm saying this with so much love because you are such a wonderful person and your wardrobe is so phenomenal, but you do look like you're in aerobics class in the 80s.
I do. All I need is a leotard.
I can only see.
Yeah.
I can only see just above Sam's waist, and in my head it's leotard and leg warmers.
Oh, yes.
And like the tights. That's what I love it so much.
White
but you look fabulous. Honestly, she looks so good. I love this. I can't wait till everyone can see it because it's so cool. I could never because I don't have the we have very different wardrobe palettes, but I frequently look at you and I go, she just looks fantastic. Like, it's so cool. I'm going to talk more about that later on.
One of the fabrics in this I bought to make a specific, to make a jumper or something, and I just really struggled with how to make it work because it just felt too much. It's the squiggly one. There's a lilac and green squiggly one, and even for me, I just felt it was too intense as one piece. And when I got these other fabrics out, I went, it's the perfect panel in it because it gets to sing, but it's not overwhelming. And the green in it was like an apple green, which was really hard to pair as well. So yeah, this was the perfect solution. Right, Jess, I think we ought to crack on with today's episode. Do you want to remind us again what we're talking about?
I do. So when we were thinking about this series, as you guys know, a big focus was us kind of being a bit unfiltered and actually talking about stuff and talking about things that we care about and things that matter to us. So this week, we're going to talk a little bit about what happens when sewing stops being your only thing that you do or your only hobby, or maybe your focus shifts, or maybe the reason for your sewing changes. And I guess there's probably two fundamental things we want to talk about here. One of them is this idea that your identity can become so intrinsically linked with a hobby that sometimes it can feel really dislocating to suddenly feel like maybe that isn't your main thing. But also, we want to talk a little bit about how rhythms of participation are very natural. That's how we process these things. So I guess, Sam, I'd love to know, for you, you're someone with loads of hobbies.
Yeah.
Or a range of hobbies. Like both of us are, but I think I think about your Lego, for example, or the different crafting that you do. How do you feel sewing fits in sort of to life in that way, and where does it rank for you?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I used to just dabble with sewing and I would have visions beyond what I could actually create. So I had early on in my sewing journey things that just didn't work because I envisaged these things that I didn't actually have the skills to do. And I, in my usual gung-ho manner, tried to do them without knowing any of the skills. And it was really interesting. I can't remember where I was. Oh, I was at work. the other day, and a colleague had some fabric sewn up when her husband had gone to Pakistan for work. And she said to me, I'm having real trouble with this, the way they hang. Can I bring them in and show you? So she didn't want me to do the work. She wanted some advice. So I'm sat there in the office looking at it, talking to her. And I had like an out-of-body experience for a moment because I was like, was that me that knew all of that, that said all of that?
Yeah.
And suddenly you realise, like, when you throw yourself into sewing, you do, like the lady who wants to do more of that consistency of moving forward, you can't easily measure the progress because it's an evolution all the time. You can't go before and after. But it does become a part of your identity, particularly if people associate you with, oh, you make your outfits. Or one of my colleagues said the other day, I can't tell now which ones you make and which ones you haven't made. Nice compliment. And so then it becomes part of who you are. And then you talk about it in this way that you didn't know you could. And your friends like become people that you go and sew with. And if suddenly for a bit you didn't want to do it as much, it's like, what happens to those friends? What happens to that identity?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Can I bring in some actual research here? Because this,
yeah,
although I research ultra marathons, I research that in the context of serious leisure, and serious leisure is not only sport. The difference between we're gonna have a little PhD corner for a second. The difference between casual leisure and serious leisure. Casual leisure is immediate. You don't really need any skills to have casual leisure. You can just sit and watch the TV, or you can go out for a drink with friends. It's very immediate. It's instantly rewarding. Serious leisure, though, is a type of leisure in which it's a hobby that takes time. Now, that could be running, it could be climbing, it could be sewing, it could be knitting, it could be cooking, something where there are skills you have to learn. And the serious leisure perspective, which for anyone interested is advanced by Robert Stebbins in like 1981 and is still going, it's very recognised now. We have 4 stages. We are a neophyte, we are a participant, we're a moderate devotee, and we're a core devotee.
Ooh.
And you move up through. So when you start in serious leisure, you're a neophyte. You don't really know what's happening. It's all just a bit exciting. And you're like, oh, I've got so much to learn. I don't know what's happening. And help, this is scary. And we all start there, right? Then we move up to participant, which is where, right, you know what you're doing now. There's still loads of people more experienced than you, but you know what's happening.
Phase. in
absolutely,
the world.
Yeah. You know enough to be able to shop.
Yes.
And to be able to look at patterns and be like, oh, okay. Yep. But maybe you still don't have any sewing friends at this point. Or maybe you still don't have sewing beliefs or, and then we move to moderate devotee where your life's starting to be a little bit shaped around it. Then we move up to core devotee. Exactly. Yeah. But when we get to the core devotee stage, you will have developed social affiliation, which means you feel like a sewist, you feel like you belong to those groups. You will have developed identity and behaviours based on the fact that you are someone who sews or you are someone who runs. Your social circles will start to be defined by people who do the same thing as you. You will have acquired skills. You built what we call a leisure career, which is, I think, a useful way to think about it, because when you have your job, you gain skills and go up ladders, right? It's the same premise, but in leisure.
Yeah.
But also you've accumulated, and this is really important for sewing, stuff. You've accumulated sewing machines and equipment and knowledge and fabric. And like, I'm looking next to me. I started with a postage stamp sized desk and a bag full of sewing stuff. I am looking at my 3 sewing machines right now. And like my unit of patterns and needles, and like I'm at a weird phase now where if you said to me, oh God, I've broken my zip, I could go and find you a zip and put a new one in. But I think it's important we recognise that it's not a hobby in that weird derogatory way that people use the term hobby, where they're like, oh, you're an amateur. Serious leisure is a real thing and it reshapes your life. And I think we have to start from that theoretical standpoint. God, I love this season. This is great. I'm so sorry if this is boring.
You wait to what I've been researching in a minute.
Well, this is really interesting because once you realise that it is reshaping your life, you recognise that the way you feel when you, in a running context, if you get injured and you suddenly can't go to run club and you can't participate and you can't do the things part of your week, or if you're sewing and your sewing machine breaks, or if you just don't fancy it, or if you have a bad experience with a pattern, you don't realize the extent to which it's affecting your life. You don't realize that the absence of it, like with physical hobbies, it's much more apparent because I've had 2 weeks off running because I've had flu. So today I ran 6K after I taught, and I feel so good to be back. It feels so nice. I am nicer. I've been much nicer since I went for a run. I feel good. I know I'm going to sleep tonight, but they're very physical benefits.
Yeah.
Sewing, you may not notice it in the same way, but you might be more grumpy. You might be just feeling a bit down. You might be feeling a bit unmoored or like dislocated from your normal rhythm as you navigate those feelings.
Yeah,
but we have to recognize it's identity based, right?
Yeah, and I think we are going to come in another episode to talking about sewing as therapy. And I think that we obviously, you and I and quite a few other people, have additional identities to attach to that through our front-facing persona on Instagram, YouTube, here, etc. So I know you and I have both worked through that feeling of, do I have to keep sewing things to show up in my spaces? And both of us have come to a point where actually we recognise that we don't, as we have more to offer. But I think that for anyone, there is that fear that, well, if I'm not sewing, am I still a sewist, and can I still be part of that space? And I think, I follow someone who's a runner who had a really serious type of cancer, so she couldn't run. And what she did was started helping the organisation of Parkrun, because she was able to keep connected with her community without being able to do the things she wanted. Yeah. And I think that this is the thing, is knowing when sewing is your tribe, that makes us have a common language to discuss with other people. But what I've realised is that inside of that, like you and I developed, some friendships go deeper, and I want to reassure people that not everyone needs you to show up just because you're a sewist. You will find people that become deeper friends than sewing friends. And sewing friends are great, but you will find within that group, by having that common discussion, you'll find you almost switch. And what I found is you're almost able to switch into a different type of conversation. I love everyone at the Summer Social, and everyone brings different things, but there are some people where I can get into quite a really deep conversation with, because it's just natural that we're on a similar wavelength. And don't underplay, I would say to people, don't underplay those friendships that you will develop through that. And it's okay not to have to show up in a sewing way. So, like, for example, I've had people show up at the Southern Social who haven't done any sewing with a sewing machine. They might have bought something else to do, because they know that they can just exist in the space with us. And it makes me really happy that I know people can do that. And I'm pretty sure all the other people out there running sewing socials like I am are probably the same about that. And even if they haven't been able to explicitly say it, probably feel the same. And I think it's great that there's lots of sewing adjacent hobbies. I love this phrase of sewing adjacent hobbies.
No, and it's crafting, like anything, sort of those portable crafts, isn't it? That kind of school of stuff you can bring to places and do.
Yeah. But
I think you're right. I think there's something we have to tackle here. Again, and it happens in every hobby when you have to take sometimes an enforced break. But I've heard people talk about this before, and we've all experienced it as well. Sometimes there are feelings of shame when you can't do a thing.
Yeah.
When you've had to take a break, and then you get to that point where you go, oh, can I still go to that? Can I still do that? Oh, I don't really do this anymore. And I think, as Sam has said, that's when we have to connect back into our sewing relationships. Like, I would argue we started as sewing friends, and we're now friends who sew.
Yeah.
And there's a difference here, because we're friends first. And I know that we're friends who sew, because when we sew in the same room, we almost never talk about the sewing we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're not, unless something's gone horribly wrong, like that awful noise your machine was making. It's so funny.
I've oiled it now, you'll be pleased to know.
I'm delighted, because I was literally, I think the difference is, like, I think sometimes people feel a pressure to, like, only talk about sewing. And I'll say this, to be honest, I don't actually want to talk to anyone about my sewing.
But do you know what?
I don't like talking about patterns, but, like, yeah.
I noticed this when I was a teacher. If you wanted to get kids chatting, you needed to do something with them at the same time. So even if we were just all colouring, and this works the same as probably people have noticed when you're in the car and like your teenager or whatever's a passenger next to you. And it is the same with sewing, that actually, because you're not having to stare at each other across the table and you're both doing something, conversation can flow more easily because no one's upset if there's a pause for a bit, because it means someone's concentrating on a bit of sewing or crocheting or whatever it is. And I think that the conversations flow more easily when you're not staring across a table at someone. And I think sewing can really help with that. I've been doing a lot of research into agency and sense of control.
Oh, lovely. Tell me everything.
Yeah. So I think sometimes, I think a lot of these, with, like you say, these, what did you describe as the like serious leisure?
Oh, it's called like serious leisure.
Serious leisure.
Yeah. As a typology.
So the thing with serious leisure is that we learn quite a few skills, but things still go wrong. We're often not doing it all the time, and we're told that hobbies are good for our mental health and all these sorts of things. But as you say, then we have an awful pattern. And sometimes that's not awful because we've had a bad experience. It's because it's actually really badly written, or there's a mistake in it. For example, a lot of those free magazine ones really should not have the word beginner on them ever, because they are not beginner friendly.
No.
And that can take away your agency, because you don't feel in control, because something is, whether it's your sewing machine playing up or whatever, that sort of thing. And actually sewing is a high agency hobby. Some hobbies are not. For example, fantasy football is a low agency hobby because so much of it is luck and luck of the draw and other people's skills and decisions that are beyond your own. Hobby can feel very high agency, because sewing is very high agency, because from choosing the patterns, choosing the fabric, choosing the stitch, all of that, but with that sense of high agency comes a pressure that this is all on me. Because if it's all on me, then it's all on me if it goes wrong, and I can't blame anyone else.
Completely. And people then also internalize a lot of that.
Yep.
And it's also reducing. Sometimes we seek to reduce our own agency for comfort, but sometimes we do that through feelings of like shame or like those more negative ways. And actually, with a high agency hobby come decisions.
Yeah.
And for some people, I think they get decision fatigue as well.
Definitely. And I think that the amount of agency in something like sewing means that I definitely agree with you that decision paralysis comes in as well. And I think finding ways to reduce that, so whether that is just picking 5 fabrics that these are the ones I'm going to choose from, or putting 10 patterns in a jar and picking out one of them, reducing that level of fatigue around choice if you're struggling, I think brings the agency a bit. You've still got the agency, but it reduces that level of fatigue around it. And I think that sometimes, like for example, I sew with jersey because it gives me high agency, high dopamine, which is like the perfect combo. And I know for you, it would give you very low dopamine.
Yeah, because I don't want to wear it.
Yeah. And also, you don't love how the fabric feels and that sort of thing. For me, when the world is feeling out of control, getting a bit of jersey fabric, knocking something out on my overlocker, I'm like king of the world, And I think it is that whole interplay, as you say, that ebb and flow of working out and understanding, because when we're having high agency, procrastination can come in as well, because we know it's all on us and we get quite scared. We can get quite scared then. And that's understandable. And I think that I've really been working this year on how I frame things. So, for example, I talked last episode about my low buy year. That's going to be challenging at the Stitch Festival, isn't it? But by making it feel like a quest and making it feel like a fun journey, I'm taking off those pressures of failing and falling off and going wrong. And I think that our brains just want to keep us alive. So when things go wrong, it can feel like, and I think, I would say we're going to ebb, we're going to flow. Any hobby is a good hobby if it's giving you what you need, and real friends will always be there. You don't have to show up just because you're not in a me-made outfit.
Oh, God. And actually, this is, okay, I have been thinking a lot about this topic. Even before I realised we were doing an episode on it, I've just been thinking about it. And I also think sometimes our impetus to sew and our desire to sew and our desire to create sometimes comes from different sources for different people. So for the last year, I've kind of been battling two twin kind of sort of opposing issues. One of which was being overwhelmed by the amount being consumed.
Yeah.
To like, or the amount being created, where it's like, oh God, like I've suddenly got all these things and like I don't know, you know, if they've worked or not. Like, you know, that feeling of like a rising tide of stuff, which doesn't make me feel great. But also, and I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to sound like I don't know if there's a word I can use that you can't beep. But I don't want to sound like an idiot when I say this, but also I feel like my sewing has got to a point now where I very rarely look at something and go, oh, I'd love to have a go at that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if that makes sense. Because for me, sewing is so much about learning and trying and experimenting. Yeah. I don't get that very often anymore. Unless because then, I don't know, does that make any sense?
It does, and it also makes sense with people who are like, well, I've made enough clothes, I don't need any more clothes. What do I do now? I've had completely. People say that to me. I still want to show up in this space. I still want to get the effects of enjoyment of sewing, but my wardrobe is full. What do I do?
Yeah.
You know, and back to that, exactly. Asking me what happens when you've made all the things. You know? I'm not sure that's going to happen.
It's such a good point.
Yeah.
But I mean, as well, I think sometimes when you start sewing, there's less pressure because you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So you have this whole world where you're like, oh, I'm going to buy this fabric and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Like, I do think being more intentional about my wardrobe has helped me think about what I'd like to sew. That's been really, really positive for me. As I said at the top of the episode, I've bought some fabric. I'm really excited about creating some really intentional pieces that I want to have for the next 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
And focusing on fabric quality and thinking about, what I want and what I like. So that's been really positive. But I do think there is an element as well where, like, I don't want to sew for a life I don't have.
Yeah, we're going to come to that in another episode as well.
We are. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
I don't want to sew for a life I don't have. But I also don't really need to sew loads of everyday stuff. There's the odd piece here where I'm like, oh, like I do actually need a couple of really nicely fitted shirts because as a tiny curvy woman, most shirts are just not for me. And Sam and I talk about this a lot. Like, you know, you're either gaping or you're enormous. So I'd quite like to put some time and effort into making some really nice, beautiful, classic pieces that I know I'm going to have for a long time. And that to me feels worth it because I can really take the time. I know how to make a shirt. So instead of a voyage of discovery, this is going to be a little bit of a voyage of perfectionism in that I want to do it really, really nicely.
And you know
that feels quite nice.
Sometimes being a perfectionist is almost seen like as a dirty word now. And I think it can be really harmful. And I've witnessed it really affecting someone's enjoyment. But I agree with you. There is a time where actually... Well, a bit like when I made many different sleeves and you was there when I was making that tulip sleeve. Just the joy of the make and the journey and the experimentation.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it a bit last episode. We still live in this culture of fast and now. And I think that being able to just like I spent about 2 hours laying out sweatshirt fabrics and making a massive mess on the living room floor. But the joy in pairing together fabrics was it for me. And no one will ever know that part of it because that was private to me. Obviously, I'm now sharing it with everyone. But 2 hours just choosing what to put together was part of the sewing for me. And although that might not show up on anything in terms of being able to show anyone, I know that every time I put this on, I know I've had a great time picking the fabrics. And I think whether that's down to, as you say, doing a really beautifully quality item, or where we've been talking about sewing adjacent hobbies, Twig and Tail, who you know I'm a massive fan of, they hugely advocate and give ideas for adding pieces of embroidery to your makes. And I love that. I love that, like on the yoke at the back of a shirt, just some beautiful little detailed embroidery, or just on the cuff, or even around like the buttonhole. And I think being able to I know a lot of people don't think they're creative, but you are, and you can be, and you can surprise yourself, and practicing and having a go and finding those little lovely things that can go into it. You know, you and I would not describe ourselves as quilters, yet we're both having a great time doing some quilting.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I actually think I'm going to pick up on that. There are sub-identities within sewing. We call ourselves dressmakers, or we call ourselves sewists, or we call ourselves quilters, or we say, oh, you know, like, oh, I'm not a proper XYZ. And I think it's a really important, just to sort of wrap up this segment, identity is often constructed in three levels. We have like institutional identity, literally sort of what you are in terms of professional or amateur. For example, let's keep it sewing based. Are you a professional tailor? Are you a pattern designer? Are you an amateur? We have our social identity, which is what other people say we are. So all of my friends say, oh, that's Jess. She sews all her own outfits. Socially, I sew. I'm a dressmaker. That's what I do. But then we also have our internal identities, and that's how we feel about ourselves and what we are. And I would really encourage anyone who's having a little bit of a low moment to have a think about how they're defining themselves, because you can be a sewist and something else. That's okay. You can be a creative, crafty person. You could be someone who enjoys making their own clothes, even if the word, we promise you are creative, but if that word makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to use it. It's okay.
No.
That's fine, as long as you enjoy what you're doing. But sewing does not have to be your single homogenous identity. It doesn't. Also, just because most people who sew do other stuff.
And also, just because you don't describe yourself as a quilter doesn't mean you can't sit at home and put a few pieces of fabric together and see what happens. And I think this is the really important thing is, I know we are both people who show our hobby, but you don't need to show anyone. It can be a quiet, private, and it might go wrong and you might chuck it in the bin, but it doesn't matter because your brain has had a great time trying something out.
Yeah.
And, you know, not everyone needs as many different hobbies as I've got. It's just how my brain works.
Well,
but don't put yourself in a box. I would say don't jam yourself in a box.
Yes.
Because it's too limiting. And also then when you, as we say, when your identity is not that anymore, there's a grief attached to that. If you're not that person, then you're grieving what's coming. So be okay about flexing, I would say.
I think so too. And I think flexing those boundaries, making them permeable, making them flexible, letting things flow in and out as your life dictates. What I would like to do to just wrap up this section is I think it would be really, really useful because people know us.
Yeah.
For the podcast, hopefully, if you're listening. Otherwise, hello. You know us for our sewing.
Yeah, hello.
I think. But I think each of us should do a super, super, super quick list of other hobbies we do and enjoy. We don't have to like explain them too much, but like just to give people an idea that sewing is not all that we do. What do you think?
Yep, I'm ready for that.
Do we love? Okay, right. You go first. Okay. So I can think of my hobbies.
Yep. For people who do the visual version, Lego. I love that someone else has done the thinking of that one for me. I love the constructing, not the thinking. Yeah. Go on then, Jess, you do one.
I play the piano, and that's probably a hobby I don't really share at all, but I've played for 22 years. And it's something that, again, has ebbed and flowed through my life, depending on access to a piano. But yeah, no, I love it. I did grades and lessons until I was like 17. And experienced life without it and decided that actually I'm a very musical person and I hate not having a piano near me. So I have gone back to practicing nearly every day and I love it. So that's a big part of my life that's like mine as well.
I used to be able to play the keyboard with two hands and the recorder and the treble bass. Can't do any of it anymore, but I used to be able to.
Simultaneously?
No. I love music. I used to love it. I cannot sing though. Okay. So I do jewelry making. So I make resin, Fimo. When I was young, I used to make and sell jewelry. Not anymore. I just make it for fun now. So.
That is cool. I learn languages for fun, genuinely. So I did French from being like 6 until I was about 18. I was meant to do it at university with something else and I didn't. And you know how some people are good at maths, like just they are?
Yeah.
Like I'm not, but languages make sense. So I have picked my French back up so that I could speak it when I went to Paris. And I'm also teaching myself Italian and a little bit of Spanish as well, because I hate going to academic conferences internationally and all the British academics being stood awkwardly in a corner while everyone else can talk to each other. So I really enjoy that. It's really fun. Give me another one.
I love to garden. I love dahlias. I love growing vegetables. I don't get to do it as much as I'd like because I rent. I have a lot of plants in pots who are desperate one day to put their roots in some soil. And probably one of my most favourite plants are the Japanese maple trees.
So beautiful. I'm an indoor gardener. By the same token, I kill anything that lives outside. I don't know why. I just can't do it. Adam is the outside gardener. As Sam knows, I have quite a few houseplants. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
There's quite a few that are taller than me now. And my favourite are orchids. I'm oddly good at orchids. I think because I leave them alone and they leave me alone. Which is very exciting. Okay, one more to finish us off.
Or you made me choose one.
Yeah, okay. Because we could be here for another hour.
Okay,
and we've got stuff to tell.
I'm going to do one then that people probably won't know. So I am a bird watcher and an avid bird watcher, and I can name many birds just by the shape of their wings in silhouette in the sky. And I love that. I have been to many nature reserves and sat in hides for many hours waiting to see a bittern. And my next tattoo is having 2 birds on my arm because I love birds so much. And I can name a lot of birds.
I love that. I love that so much. By the same token, I'm actually going to pick one that you guys do know, but I'm going to roll it into something else. So I'm a huge fitness person, not like a lycra gym person, but I love movement. I grew up dancing, and I used to do cheer and martial arts and yoga and all sorts of stuff. I still do lots of things, but the big thing for me is running. I am progressing neatly through those serious leisure stages. And while I'm not buying anything fabric I am buying fabric. While I'm not buying any new clothes, I did buy some new trainers at the weekend at the National Running Show, and I'm very excited about them arriving this week. I need good podcast vibes. As of today, so 2nd of Feb, I have just begun a 16-week half marathon plan because I'm doing Hackney Half in May with my sister-in-law. So any fellow running sewists, I know that there are sewists who listen to this podcast on their run.
Yeah.
So sending you massively good vibes for your run. If you're listening to this right now, please also send me good vibes.
Bird watchers don't listen to the podcast because you can't hear the birds. No.
Oh, but you have to tell us. So before we move on to our final little section, we've each got something we just want to bring and talk about.
Yeah.
We would love to know your hobbies that aren't sewing. I mean, tell us if you like sewing. We assume you do. But tell us about your other hobbies. Tell us in the episode thread. Tell us on the Instagram post. Tell us on Spotify. Just tell us. We want to know because we're all more complex than just one hobby.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think there's 2 things we can ask the listeners from this. I'm going to ask people how they describe themselves. Do they describe themselves as a sewist or something else? And also, what are people's hobbies? I can't wait for episode 3 when we can read these out.
So excited. Don't fail us, guys. Tell us everything.
Yeah, okay. Be really sad if I have to make some up.
Yeah, which
just my other hobbies in there that I mentioned.
We'll just keep listing ours until you guys tell us. So we are going to wrap up the episode now with, as we did last week, we've each got something to bring, something little that's make us happy this week. So Sam, tell me, what's your thing?
I'm really sorry. Mine breaks the rules already. You know I love to break a rule. Mine does not make me happy. I just need to talk about it. Sorry.
That's also fine. A strong urge to talk about it is very welcome.
Today is the day after the Grammys, so all over social media, etc., there are pictures of people's Grammy outfits, which as sewists, we love to have a look to see what people are making and constructing. I need to talk about Chapel Rowan's outfit. Have you seen it, Jess?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
I have, because for anyone else who wants someone I could follow, by the way, Hot Lamode, which I will link, is a American guy who does reviews of all the fashion. He goes to like all the fashion shows and everything, and I'm obsessed with his short form reviews of the Grammys. So I don't understand her outfit. I don't get it.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. I completely understand that we know fashion can be a statement, political or otherwise. You know, we're not fresh out the packet over here, but there was a whole vibe about the Grammys, about this nearly naked, and it's been for a while now at some of the shows. And I might sound old. I don't care. Maybe young me would have said something different. I'm not sure she would have done. But I just don't understand why female celebrities still need, or people who identify as female celebrities, I want to be careful how I say that.
And the people who dress them, crucially.
Yes. Why are we needing to just be like as close to naked as we can be when actually you're there because of your talents? And almost all those people in that room have some people are there because they fill the space, but most of those people there are because they have incredible talent, or other, or, they're there as critiques or whatever. But there were so many outfits that were like, how little can we put on a person? And I think it was at Heidi Klum, that entire...
Oh, yes. The latex dress.
It was like a Barbie mould fitted over her body that she could barely walk in. Okay, her body was covered, but there was another body on the outside, and I don't understand this need for it, because these people, Chapel Rowan's songs and her thinking and the way she talks about stuff is amazing. I don't know why she would need to do that to get attention.
Okay, I'm gonna, just because I realise we haven't actually told anyone what we're talking about.
I don't
Chapel
really know
Rowan,
how.
You can look it up. So Chapel Rowan she had like a big cape thing, and I do think the cape thing was cool. Without the cape, she basically wore half a dress held up by 2 nipple rings.
Yeah.
With boobs fully out.
Yeah.
Now, again, so I'm a fan of a, crucially, nearly naked dress of the old kind.
Yeah.
Where it was like all lace.
What was his
name? And there's
a
slight silhouette.
The guy who used to dress Cher all the time. Why can't I think of his name?
Is it Bob Mackie?
Yes, Bob Mackie. The way he would do it was stunning. And I think I agree with you. There's an art and a skill to using those things, and it sort of hinting at but not really being the body, the silhouettes and all of that sort of thing. And let's be clear.
Or like an example. Oh, sorry, I
was just saying, we don't need to be ashamed. This is not about body shaming, being ashamed of bodies or anything wrong with nipples or bodies or anything like that. It's just, I don't understand what this is about red carpets and everything at the moment with all of this. I just don't know. No. It just feels so against
they've been banned at Cannes.
Yeah.
Well, they've been banned at Cannes, which I think is a fantastic thing, because it's a film festival.
Yeah, it's about the films and the
I'm going to show...
And the... yeah.
I probably won't be able to show this on screen. I don't know if it'll turn up, but that is Sabrina Carpenter's dress. Now, it won't show up properly, but that is a nearly naked dress in that it's see-through lace.
Yeah.
But that's vintage. I think it's vintage Valentino. It's definitely Valentino. And it plays again in the light, a little bit of silhouette, but beautifully constructed and covered. Whereas all I think when I see... There's a difference between nearly naked and just naked.
Yeah.
And when I see people who are just fully naked, I'm like, are you not cold? You've got to sit and have dinner.
The
Grammys is a dinner. I know, but like, I don't know if it's because I'm an event professional as well. I look at it and I go, you've got to sit and have dinner for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just the carpet walking.
Doesn't need. She's not. Madonna made, back in the 80s, when Madonna wore a wedding dress with that belt with the word virgin on, and the release of her album, it was all making a particular statement. Yes. It's just a trend, and it's like almost they're chasing the who can do it the most. That's how it feels, is they're chasing the person who can go the furthest with it. And there was somebody a while ago who I felt very worried, because she was with some male celebrity.
And what's her face with Kanye West?
Yes, and she dropped the coat, and I was very concerned. And I know there's a lot of narrative around it about was this really her choice or not. And I just why are we chasing the who can get the most naked? Because otherwise we'll just turn up with nothing on. I don't understand the point.
But we also have to remember though that these are stars being dressed by designers.
But you can still say
more
no.
to the point. No, but what I mean is, why have Mugler designed that? Like, that's a Mugler dress. I understand more on a runway, which is the fashion equivalent of an art exhibition.
Yes.
Like, I get it more on a runway, but I don't understand why that would ever come off the runway.
Yeah, because I think I agree with you that runway shows are entire productions. They're like theatre. They're art and theatre and that sort of thing. But also, I respect so much of what Chapel Rowan stands for and the lyrics in her songs and all that sort of thing. And this just is too juxtaposed to me. I don't, maybe someone needs to explain it to me why I don't understand, but I just needed to talk about it.
No, but I think we should talk about it because also there is a difference between you're not being oppressive if you don't want people to be naked on the red carpet. Yeah. I don't care about the gender of the person either. No. I don't think anyone should be naked.
No.
Like, it's an evening do. We don't need to be naked. It's no. We can put clothes on. There is elegance. We can put beautiful clothes on.
Yeah. There is elegance in so many ways. And I think a lot of people may have not loved what Harry Styles was wearing, but there was something really creative and artistic about those green shoes, which were phenomenal. Have you seen them? Really.
I'm just reminding myself.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Almost like they were like some sort of jelly form. And then this really amazing boxy jacket. And I think that made quite an interesting sort of design statement. And I think that there's so many ways. Lady Gaga looked almost like she was a bird, and I thought it was phenomenal. But
Zara Larsson, I think one of the rare occasions in which the dress looks better with the weird wiggly frame on it. Yeah. Because normally, you see them with the extra bits, and you're like, huh? And on the carpet, I was like, I'm a bit sort of, I'm not seeing it. And then when she performed on stage with this extra sort of sun wiggles extra dress, I was like, oh, I see it now. That's stunning. Yeah. Harry Styles as well is wearing a look I like on everybody, which is the shirtless blazer look. And you see it with women when they do like a blazer dress. Love that. And we're not saying, oh my God, no risque fashion. Blah, blah, blah. Not at all. That's totally fine. It's just there's a difference between being a little bit risque and like having those sort of nearly naked silhouettes and like playing with form and literally just not wearing a top.
Yeah. And also
there's a difference.
And I don't think it's a political statement about body neutrality either. I don't believe it's
No, I don't.
Yeah, I just don't believe it's like, all bodies are good bodies. If I thought there was some statement about that, then I might feel differently. But yeah, I just needed to talk about it. Sorry, Jess, I know this is supposed to be something we're loving, but
No. I think something we want to talk about is also fine. Because I have a love-hate relationship with what I want to talk about. I'm sorry, I'm slightly sidetracked by the fact that I didn't realise Harry Styles wore jeans and trainers, and now I'm not okay with it because the top half is gorgeous and the bottom half looks like it's going to find
shoes he had on? He had green shoes on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the green shoes. The problem is I'm looking at them more now. They're like ballet flats. That's cute.
They're like ballet flats, yeah.
He looks like... Okay, I'm just going to say it. You know when you don't know what to wear out and you ask another girl and you go, oh, what are you wearing? And they say, oh, I'm wearing jeans and a nice top.
Yeah.
Harry Styles is wearing jeans and a nice top.
He wanted to let the shoes sing.
Well, he did, but like, I don't know why. From a distance, it just looks like he's going to the pub and has lost and gone, oh God, give me that jacket, thank you. I don't know if the jacket being longer would have helped, but I love it. I love that he's doing it. Vibe, okay. Yeah. And there's so much fashion I loved from the Grammys. I will say there's some really, really gorgeous stuff. And I'm open to playing with fashion as well. But I do think that people go, oh, well, it's body neutrality to just have your body out. And you're like, well,
is it?
It's not, though.
No.
It's not.
It's
because, again, this isn't even about talent. And it just feels like we wouldn't dress men like this.
No, and also there's a lot of preparation in those bodies. It's not really neutral, is it?
No, of course not. It's absolutely not. I mean, if you think about like the stress people go through even to have a designer fit them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring back my thing.
Yep.
Because I don't know how I feel about it, and I'm going to share it, and then we should probably wrap up. So I don't know if it's just my algorithm, but I keep getting loads and loads of close-up videos from sewing machines of people showing how to do certain stitch techniques. Whether that's putting in zips or doing flat fell seams. Are you getting these?
What, on Instagram?
Yeah.
No, mine's filled with rabbit videos because Tilly, my stepdaughter's got rabbits and she keeps sending me rabbit reels. That's all I get now.
Okay, so your algorithm's destroyed. We'll come back to you in like 6 months. So I keep getting videos that are like zoomed in on like an industrial sewing machine.
Yeah.
You know the ones.
I know, the cheeky ones that are like in a table.
Yeah, and they've got like the really, really narrow foot and the single needle, and there's like nothing else around it. And I keep getting videos of people doing like perfect invisible zips with them and perfect like flat fell seams and stuff. And half of me goes, oh, that looks really cool. And then a bit of my brain goes, I don't know if this is real because I don't think it works like that.
Yeah.
And then part of me's going, is this like AI sewing, or is this like professional techniques that don't work on a normal sewing machine? Because I'm looking at that going, well, my sewing machine foot won't do that.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll just send you a load of rabbit reels.
That's a great idea. No, you don't need to. Because actually, do you know what my algorithm is? Sewing videos, people making stuff, obviously. And then, I don't know what I did to deserve this, might I add, because it's not on my personal Instagram or my running one, but I'm getting so much 20 years of High School Musical content because it's the 20th year. I think what happened was I engaged with the Hilary Duff reel because obviously Hilary Duff's touring at the moment, which is mental because that's 20 years since the Hilary Duff movie or whatever. And then I think I got one that was like, oh my God, can you believe it's 20 years since High School Musical came out? And now they are relentless. Yeah. They will not stop. And I'm like, I
get loads of mini egg.
I'm going to have to rewatch it now.
Mini egg recipes I keep getting as well.
Sorry. You keep getting those. It's the 2nd of February. Easter might as well be next year. I saw cream eggs 2 weeks ago.
We've been eating cream eggs for weeks in our house.
I'm not allowed them in January, apparently.
We're allowed them as soon as they're in the shop. So
last November then.
I sent one reel to my stepdaughter of where you got the waffles with the rectangular heart spaces where someone had put the mini egg chocolate in between, then put mini eggs in the holes, and then put it in the air fryer. That's it. Then once you've sent one, then I've had banana bread mini egg recipes, all sorts of things now. So
big mini egg is really coming for you. The industrial mini egg complex has got its hooks into your algorithm.
Yeah. So that my warning is, if anyone's like, why am I getting this stuff on Instagram? Who sent you something that you clicked on and watched? Because we have rules in our house now about don't send each other certain things because I don't want that showing up on my algorithm.
Oh, I know. I'm quite good. Like I go through and if I see something, I'm like, oh, I don't want whatever this is. I'll go to the like not interested, don't show me this button at the bottom because I'm like, I don't.
And if
I
you
get
want
it more on my personal
something,
Instagram.
watch some more of the thing you like, and then you'll get more of it.
Yeah, I mean, I have ruined my YouTube Shorts algorithm because it only gives me K-pop now. That's it. I don't get anything else. I'm like, how has this happened? But, you know, we are where we are. At least it's quite fun. The music's a pop. I don't get any sewing content though, so maybe that's why I'm not big show to anyone. But we've had a great time today. I've really enjoyed this episode. I've really liked how close as well. We filmed recorded like one a week-ish. And that's been really nice to like actually get to catch up a bit more. So if you enjoyed last episode, if you enjoyed this episode, rate us on Apple Podcasts. It literally affects how we're shown to people. Leave us a review on Spotify, or if it's a rate, I don't know what the setup is.
Whatever
but do something on Spotify if you're a Spotify person, please, yeah. And follow us on Instagram. So what's new pod? So what's new pod,
you want to know what it's called on Instagram?
Yeah, I'm looking, hang on.
I'm looking.
Yes, so what's new pod? Sorry, guys, it's because our email, if you want to send us an email, is sonewbiscuit@gmail.com.
Yeah.
On Instagram, we are so what's new pod, and we will be back in 2 weeks' time.
We will. See you again soon. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Right.